Right. Good evening all, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. Tonight, as usual, we've got a nice special video today. We're on about, the video is called Dealing with Lockdown When Living with Autism. Now, obviously tonight, we've got, I class him as my brother. It can be annoying at times. We have banter, but I love him. He's a property investor. He's got a group called Autistic Champions Around the World.
Yep.
And he's got autism himself.
And I got a website as well. Well, there you go.
Welcome, Richard Fair.
Hello, Adam. So,
How are you?
better than I have been for a while. You know, the last couple of days, it's like I could probably re-release a single by Justin Timberlake with a different title, but never mind. Instead of Crimea River, it could be Crimea Ocean, but, you know, emotions are up and down at times, but, you know, mental health is robust, but it has its moments, as everyone's finding out. You know, lockdown is an issue. I personally am not allowed to go more than 5 miles from my front door at the moment. That's our restriction around here.
Damn.
It's difficult. I think I've been out about 10 times during lockdown for shopping, but I tend to go out for a 3 or 4 mile walk before everyone else is up, get out of the way, and do some exercise at home. But when lockdown started, it was like it's going to be a nice little holiday, wasn't it? You know, it's like, oh, and then it starts to bite, and then you can't see this person or that person, and you know, it just starts to add up, and it's like, so in the first few days, oh, this is all right. And then I decided, you know, it's like steering my head in a bit. So I decided to make put a few A4 sized papers together, pieces of paper. I would take them and make it like a timetable. So I've been doing webinars, attending webinars, speaking on international summits about this. And I've been doing masterminds, I've been learning new skills, I've been listening to audiobooks.
Yeah, absolutely.
Having some time to downtime, and can't wait for just a handful of days now. Premier League champions.
But yeah, also, we all know you're a published author. You've got, is it 2 books?
Got 1 book, but I'm going to start dictating and trying to get like software to dictate it, and then get a ghostwriter to write it, which I was going to say, seriously unique, gifted and talented, autistic.
Fantastic. Yeah, because maybe what you can put in there is basically a chapter on how you were coping and what kind of coping mechanisms you did during this pandemic.
And sometimes I felt indifferent, to be honest. I have to say, you know, at times there were some dark times, you know.
We all have them. We all have them.
And I wasn't coming out on stage, but then I sort of shout at myself and rant at myself and say, "Gotta get yourself, sort yourself out, pull yourself together," you know.
Yeah,
literally.
Well, I know you contact me practically daily or every now and then, and
you know,
and obviously, even though half the time we talk about something that's not even relevant,
just to take my mind off. It's just to take my mind off it, you know. It takes your mind off it.
Exactly.
Anything to take your mind off it. It could be something really stupid, like the funniest moments or something you saw. You know when you see someone slip on a banana, you're not supposed to laugh, but I pissed myself laughing, right? It's things like that, you know. It's like just to take your mind off it.
Yeah, that's how it is.
Just enough, and then it takes a bit of it off, and then you're able to start to think a bit more clearly and do something.
Yeah, you know? See, me and you are practically in the same boat, because obviously we both live with autism, we've both got mental health issues, and it's like if we just stop, like, because this is my coping mechanism, doing videos like this, and if I just suddenly stop, my depression will kick in, my anxiety levels will go through the roof, and
You've
this is
got
why
to
I
keep
stay busy.
active. You've got to keep active. You really have. It's like, you know, I didn't want to cut the grass because it's like 5 times longer than my hair. You know, it's like, it's just ridiculous. But I did it eventually. You know, and the weeding and stuff. It's like, got to do it right. Got to return this when I move in the same state as I found it. So these things have to be done. But no, it's my journey, my mission, as it was, not just to be one of the top 3 entrepreneurs and stuff, and all that side, and my coaching disabilities and autistics and what else.
Let's talk about that. The coaching disabilities. How did you come across with that idea of coaching people with disabilities?
I've got a couple of people back in Bristol who have been unofficially coaching for some time, and they're making great things. One is doing really well in 2 different network marketing opportunities, who wouldn't go out before. It's very more retiring, where they're not now. So I sort of knew I had something there, right? I got a couple of people I know, psychologists who work with dyslexic people and others, who said, if you look in my group today, there's a post by Natasha. Okay. She's agreed to let me refer people. So I will get my qualifications to be a business growth mentor and a business coach and a life coach. But, I'm qualified to coach people with disabilities and autistics because I love the lifestyle. Yeah. You don't need a piece of paper to know that. One of my first programs is how to increase your comfort zones in a controlled fashion. Some people move faster than others, and desensitize some of the triggers so that you can cope. What was it I said on stage in London? From a place of social interaction dysfunction into a place of social integration functionality.
Try saying not at high speed.
Try saying it when you're pissed. It's really funny, yeah. But that's one thing I was thinking. But I am working on other things, and I would talk to Sash and other people and work on other things. But basically, I want to start doing polls and see what people need. Now, I can do discovery calls. So they go to autisticchampions.co.uk, my website, and book. It's like an hour Zoom to start off with, and then it's first session free. But then there's a pricing structure. So for your bronze, your silver, your gold, and platinum is the ideal clients. You know what I mean? We all have those, right?
Yeah.
The other side of it, the business side, want to be in one of the biggest business groups and all this sort of thing, is same mission. It's an overarching mission. It's to break the myths about people with autism and disabilities to become first-class citizens like everyone else.
Absolutely.
Complete and utter equality. And I want to empower as many people with disabilities and autistics to not have to depend on DWP or the health assessments.
Because obviously
now I've learned about the fiat system, which is the normal system, and you've got to do all your business and everything that way, and the blockchain and the crypto thing. But what people don't realise is you have software that shows you what you need to pay, but you can create your own gig economy. You can create your own economy and be socially and utterly independent. And that's an ideal of mine, because I want to have as many people taken out of the welfare system, and they can hire people to do stuff and support, right? Yeah. They can tap into third sector groups, non-for-profits, what else? There's so much that can be done, and it's like, that's what I want to do.
Yeah, because obviously, without going too much into it, not talking politics or anything like that, but there are a lot of special needs kids, majority of them, who do experience autism, that are slipping through the cracks.
What I feel is...
my son was the same. He slipped through the cracks because of the education system.
Well, you're brilliant. You're brilliant. He's got a fighter for a dad, and that's fantastic.
Well,
I know, aka the autistic champion. Adam's aka the dyspraxia champion.
I thought it was a dyspraxic warrior, but anyway, that's for a different
Well,
video.
you know what I mean. And a Bolton fan, but we won't go there.
That's for a separate video. That's irrelevant. But anyway, if this is what's going to make
you know, people don't realise the guy who's going to work with me on trading and crypto, he runs autistic football teams and leagues.
Yeah.
That's why I want to work with him, because he understands me, right? And it wasn't to the people he works with explained on a webinar exactly both systems and how both systems marry up, and it's not really one or the other, right? And let's face it, in the next 10, 15 years, we probably will have fiat currency, which is normal money, some money, but mostly it'd be cards and it'd be digital. It's going that way, and it's going to only go in one direction of travel, right? So we might as well get ourselves educated, yeah? And I just want to empower people, you know. Louisa, you might see a comment on my post in my group. She's one of my proteges, and she's phenomenal.
Yeah.
I was only supporting her earlier. We are having a right good laugh. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous how those stupid little filters and those activities on your messenger video chats can just make you laugh, like piss yourself laughing, right?
Yeah, well, it's a coping mechanism, though, isn't it? That's all it is. Yeah.
I like listening to all sorts of music. Fine. When I have a splitting headache, it's best to listen to classical music at full pelt. It seems to soothe it.
Yeah. So what do you do when you're experiencing a mental health, not a mental health, but an autism meltdown? What coping mechanisms do you put into place?
I've been brought home by PCSOs after having a meltdown in Pontypridd itself. You know, they sort of know me. Some of them water beats up here. Sometimes they, you know, park their patrol vehicle and they do a beat right and come in the cafe up the road. And it was stupid. I heard someone talk about something to do with their dad, and it triggered me because, you know, people might not know, but it's hard for people with autism to suffer big life changes, right? Yeah. So let's just take it. Lost my dad in 2015. 6 months later, I was diagnosed with autism. My mother could have got me diagnosed in my 30s or late 20s, but didn't decide to. She thought she could live forever and protect me. Wrong. Then I lost my mother in 2017 on my friend's birthday. Previous to that, in 2016, I had to move out of the family home I lived in for 52 years and go into a council flat with a drug dealer pimp next door, which took me 18 months to get him evicted. Then I decided I wanted to move here because I needed to find myself and have time to myself to be me and grow into what I want to do. So I decided to email some agents over here. One day, that's not enough. The next day, there was this one came through. What are you doing to my friend? I'm not doing nothing. We're going to Wales. Paid to take off the rental market, paid a year's rent the next Saturday, moved in the next Monday. And these are massive changes that people don't normally cope well with. No. But I think what set me up is, let me tell you, I had an ego bigger than this world and selfishness before I became my parents' carers, my dad's carer.
Yeah.
That just totally destroyed that. You know, I got a little bit of an ego maybe.
We won't go into that. We won't go into that.
It's now selfish to a healthy point, but I'm more selfless. It's about serving others as well. Because if you give enough people, what's the mantra? If you give enough people, help enough people get what they want, you get what you want ultimately anyway.
Yeah, well, we've all got a bit of an ego, but it's how we come across. And sometimes people respect that.
Yeah, but being my dad's carer, you know, 113 blue light dashes, telling doctors what times meds are supposed to be taken, when they're supposed to take and how. You know, persuading my dad to have an operation that kept him alive for another 2 or 3 years than he would have had. You know, all these things at a time when I had to learn how to run the household. My brother did the estate's finances, but everything else was me.
Yeah.
And it was hard. I had a best friend whose care job people let her go over to me to help me with my TA, because my mum was worried about how messy her bedroom was. She didn't want the ambulance crews there, but eventually got them there, all right? Helped me get her off the floor because she had 2 artificial knees that I couldn't lift on my own. And it was traumatic. And I said, look, Mum, they're going to squats, they're going to places that are derelict. Do you think they really care about how messy your bedroom is? This is what I was fighting against, right?
Mm.
And yeah, it was hard. And if it wasn't for my best friend, I wouldn't be here now. Because in 2016, I was very close to taking my own life. So I was coping with this with my dad. If she hadn't turned around within those 2 minutes, within the next half hour, I probably would have taken 26 blood thinners and beta blockers, knowing my brother went back to the Monday.
Yeah.
No one found me. And it's like, because my friend stayed with me for hours, phoned in sick the next day, gave me a damn good talking to, like I've done to them before. I'm still here today.
And I praise you, no doubt about that.
So, you know,
You're a warrior, mate.
to
You're
be
a
fair,
warrior.
during this lockdown, I've had feelings like that. I won't lie, I have. But I dealt with them, and I'm able to deal with them now more than I've ever been before.
Yeah, I feel
I
it,
felt
mate.
like that twice in my life before.
Yeah, well, as I keep saying to you, we're always a message away or a phone call away whenever you feel like that. And I know you've contacted me before when you have experienced an anxiety attack.
Well,
And
I tell you how I felt. I tell you how I felt, don't I? You'd send me a message. Yeah. Are you okay? You chat. It's like, I'll tell you if I do.
Yeah, absolutely, because this is my job. This is what I do. I'm here to listen.
Yeah, well, you know, there needs to be. Let me just say, let me be controversial for a minute, because I know someone in America thinks the same as me. You know, and they don't mind big pharmaceuticals. They do good stuff sometimes, but they say, hey, you don't need medication for depression. You don't need medication for anxiety. You don't need it for panic attacks. I've been on medication nearly 5 years now. Obviously, in the most severest cases, then that's a different matter. But, you know, if we have more talking therapy, more counselling services, we have more talking therapies, we have more mental health first aiders in the community, we wouldn't need these things, these medications.
No, obviously, like...
I may be controversial to some people. That's what I firmly believe.
Hey, we've all got our coping strategies and coping techniques. We all do. Some are different.
It changed for me. Let me tell you, I took part in 2 university studies into autism as a guinea pig, right? Part of that was a counselling package. The first hour session was all about me telling the person who's counselling me, who I knew, why I shouldn't trust them, blah, 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 this and this, and why I don't think it's a waste of time, blah, blah. Then we went into doing guided self-help, and it tasted you. What's the situation? What have I been doing to cope? What can I introduce to that to strengthen it and to bring down my anxiety or my panic? And I think in the last 3 years, I've had about 2 attacks, and that's it.
Good on you, brother.
So, you know, this is guided self-help, counselling. You know, I was skeptical because, you know, if you say certain things like, oh, I feel suicidal and stuff, they can't let people know, right? Yes.
Yeah.
And it's like, I was a great stickler, and I believe in the old-fashioned doctors, you know, total confidentiality and all that sort of thing. So it was a big step for me, right, to trust someone else.
Yeah.
And for some people, that is a massive step.
It is, and you've done it good.
Yeah, I try. Yeah, my mother used to say I was very trying.
Oh, of course you are.
Funny story is, I used to think my name was Oi, because my mum would say, Oi, come here. That's all I ever heard. Oi this, oi that. It's like,
No.
they can't play it for years.
Yeah, well, I've been called many names in the past, but I'm glad to be here.
I've been called all the names under the sun, including some you do really not want to be called.
Oh yeah, I
But,
know. Yeah.
my middle name's Dominic, and for years I wanted to change it around, so I wouldn't be Richard Dominic. I'd be Dominic Richard because I thought it sounded posher.
Okay.
It's true. That's what I felt, you know. And I thought, you know, if I marry someone else and she had a really good surname, I might take her surname, so I have a triple-barreled name.
Yeah. Yeah, well, what we'll do is, because time flies when we're having fun, we'll wrap this up. And
is there anything else you want to ask me?
Yeah, one final question. How would you describe the new normal in an autism world?
It's scary, but you get used to it. The world was always going to change. There will be some things that go back to being normal as they were. There'll be other things that won't change, and obviously we'll adapt. Human race is great at adapting, right?
Absolutely.
So autistic, so it's like certain things will change. And one of the things, like I said, is you've got your normal currency, you've got digital currency. Digital currencies going to go further. And let me tell you, all the big institutions said they never go down that route. They're all queuing up to come onto blockchain, into digital currencies.
Yeah.
They are biting at the bit. Morgan Stanley and others, you know, I will never do that. There's nothing about it. You know, you've got Bitcoin was your 1.0. Then Ethereum was the second blockchain. They're coming out a second version of that now to be 2.0. And it'll be even faster. Do you know you can send £20 million somewhere else in the world and it'll be there and cleared within 5 minutes once you send $1 to prove that it's a legitimate address? You can do that. Instead of costing you £100 to send it, it'll be 10. Instead of waiting 3 to 5 days for it to clear, it'll be cleared in 5 minutes. It's going to revolutionize the world, but people get used to it, right? You know, I lived through decimalization. Now, I'm still an imperial fan, you know, imperial measurements, all that sort of thing. I'm getting used to the metric in my old age, but you know, it's like, I remember when you used to get, and a pound was a pound, it went a long way, you know, when for 10p I can get 7 donuts. I remember those days, right? When you used to get like, spend 20p and you get like near 100 sweets. It's like ridiculous. Yeah. These were the days, right? I can remember when petrol was 55p per gallon.
Yeah, I remember I could go to the shop with just £1 and I could come out of that shop with a packet of crisps, a drink and a chocolate bar.
If you think about it these days, change is going to be rapid, right? We need more skills in tech. We need to learn more. We need to have better internet security. We need better guidelines and regs and stuff. We need to look after people more. It's like Black Lives Matter. Yeah, I was on a podcast and I was commenting on podcasts in the States. I've been anonymous. I got 3 friends who do that, right? And I said, Black Lives Matter, they do. Black Lives, now it's / all lives matter. Full equality between everyone of any colour. Do you know everyone's the same? 99.99% our genome is exactly the same, regardless of colour.
You know what? What I'm going to do, and I'm going to say this on record, I'm officially going to invite you, Richard, onto a separate video in near future. The title of that video is, Why Do We Need the Equality Act? So we won't answer now. Richard, we won't answer now.
I'm fighting for a completely separate autism act with real powers.
Yeah, well, what we'll do is we'll save that for another video because we are running out of time. We'll run out of time, but I think that would be absolutely fantastic.
We'll talk about a few videos. Let's do a series of videos. Let's make it like,
Absolutely.
and like hashtag it so it all can be found. So I believe we need to have a separate autism act. I had a friend has Asperger's, right? Didn't get promoted. There's 3 people could have 2 promotions, and he's turned around and told her, HR, well, we didn't promote you because you've got Asperger's. You don't act like a normal human being.
Yeah, absolute discrimination.
Now, if we had a separate autism act and that company was going to get fined 5% of its total profits for the year and compensate that person, do you think things would change? Yeah, exactly. It should be a justice system. It should be everything, and it should be exceptions.
Yeah, well, we'll save that for another video. Right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to end this recording now.
Okay.
Glad to bring you on. Glad we actually got through this without any conflict. A little bit agree to disagree moments we knew.
Conflict. What conflict?
Anyone that's going to watch
You
it?
make me. No, I'm not that bad. I'm not that bad.